Well, good morning. How are you this morning? It's great to be with you. Tuesday, the 8th of September. Wow, the year is going so fast, isn't it? Here we are going headlong towards December. I probably shouldn't start that. We'll start seeing Christmas trees in the shops fairly soon, but my goodness, the year is going fast. But I trust that today there'll be some slow points. I trust that today there'll be an opportunity for, as the year is crazy, as your to-do lists are epic. I'm seeing beautiful Karen online, Teresa, a whole bunch of other friends. I know what your to-do list is like today, Karen, and I really trust that as the year gets faster and faster as we move towards its end, that we'll all actually have a little bit of time just to take a minute, and I'm hoping that this time this morning may even just be that minute. So why don't you say hi to each other? Why don't you give us a shout out if you're online? Even if you're just dropping by for a couple of minutes, you can pick this up later on in the day. This stays up on our Abundant Life Church Facebook page. We've got Abundant Life Church Tasmania on YouTube, and you can pick up all of our videos there, including our Sunday morning online church. And then you can also find this particular Tuesday morning episode on Spotify. So I only got a couple more weeks left, and then I'm taking off for some annual leave. It's gone a little bit over annual now. I'm a little bit behind in my leave. My body, my soul, my mind's ready for a rest. And we've got a brilliant team to carry us through the back end of September, first couple of weeks of October. We'll park these Spotify messages during that leave and just concentrate the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. But thank you for being there with us this morning. And again, why don't you just start saying hi? It's going to be a great day. Make a declaration over yourselves. We would love to continue to consider that this online church family that we are growing requires our participation, not just spectating. And so if you get a chance to say, repeat some comments in there, ask a question in there, G'day Kai, you living legend. It's so great that you'd be with us this morning. Just believing, mate, that all the things that have been in your past are going to culminate in something brilliant, not just in your present, but something absolutely wonderful for your future. And Candace, missing you guys too, but loving you, loving the way you love your family, and hope that Jeff had a fantastic Father's Day. It's great to see you on. Thanks for saying hey. So our mission this morning is to recap a little bit on Father's Day and hopefully build a Father's Day message and hopefully build on it. Our mission today is to do the mission of the church, which is to see us take some time to connect with God, be able to move into some relationships, and this is an online one. So again, saying hi, emailing us some prayer requests, finding out how you can be more involved or getting involved in some online discipleship, digital things. So connecting with God, connecting with each other, and taking a little bit of this truth, a little bit of this joy, a little bit of this peace into your working day, whether it's in the workforce or our hardest workers, our mums and our grandmas and our carers. So let's hope that that's happening. And as we always say, you are made on purpose for a purpose. And I believe that what God wants to speak to us this morning is actually about that purpose, and how that gets stepped out, first of all, with Him, and then how we can maybe help lock arms together and move forward in that. So I would like to reference this morning and call this morning a message on legacy. Legacy. So can I get you to write in already, Kai? Can I get you to write in, Candace and Karen? Why don't you write in, I have a legacy, I will leave a legacy. I think it's important to mirror both. A legacy, by definition, is a gift from one generation to the next, from the past to the present. Normally it's in property or money, but in a greater sense, and because we're people of spirit, we walk by the Spirit, there is a greater legacy that we leave, one of hope. There's a greater legacy that we leave, one of believing, of faith for miracles. And, in terms of a legacy that we are leaving for the next generation. So why don't you type in, I have a legacy, I will leave a legacy. In this day and age, we actually have a lot of stuff which is passed down. We can go, well, I didn't have that great a dad, in referencing to Father's Day. Maybe my upbringing wasn't fantastic. Maybe there were some things which wounded me. I'm looking forward to our next Fun Family service, where I bought this book or it was more, I gave it to Archie, but it's for me. It says, the book's called What Do I Do With a Problem? And it's a little boy who gets a problem, and the more he tries to shoo it away and ignore it, the bigger it gets, until he starts to tackle the problem head on. And as he looks at that problem, he sees opportunity in it, and all of a sudden this grey book turns into golden colours. It's brilliant. Can't wait to preach that and to draw that out with our kids. But you know what, we can look at a whole series of issues and wounds and pains, and if we actually look at it with God's eyes, though, there are some things within that we could actually say, no, that shaped me for the better, that made me for greater, that honed my message or my identity, it led me away from things or led me into some things. I have a legacy. Someone has given me something, and the greatest of all is Jesus has given us life. He has given us his name. He has birthed the church through the apostles that is still rippling out 2,000 years after it's going on. Despite political repression or viral shutdown, the church continues to flourish. Jesus gave us this. I have a legacy, and now I will leave a legacy. It's part of our church's mandate. Karen and I carry a heart for the generations, kids and youth. It's part of what we believe that we are here to install and release and actually steward, is a legacy for the next generation. And it's not just a property, it's not a building, it's not programs. I'm hoping that one day our children's children may come in and bulldoze the property and build something fantastic, but I want to leave them a culture. I want to leave them a culture of faith. You know, on Sunday we saw beginnings of a brilliant miracle in a physical healing, an illness that the doctors are saying could take months, if not years, to outwork. Saw a miraculous touch on Sunday, and a young person is months and months and months ahead on a healing journey because they stopped and surrendered and had some people and even some teenagers gather around in prayer. We have a legacy to pass on, believing for the supernatural and the healing. We got to see speaking to the wind and the waves over a wedding over the weekend, and we went, no, this is not just showing off. And you can go, the wind just stopped, and the Bureau of Meteorology got it wrong, blah, blah. Sure, but I know what I asked for. I know what I asked in Jesus' name. I know I asked it for his glory, and I know I asked it believing in his kindness, his love, and then I know what I saw. And I want to leave that legacy for our next generation. I'm not sure if you know Ray Bradbury's futuristic, really seminal book, Fahrenheit 451. It's a book set, way in the future where knowledge is deemed inappropriate because it makes people unhappy. The knowledge only asks further questions, which makes us unhappy. And so they change the role of the firemen. Firemen are no longer putting out fires. Firemen are starting fires, and their primary job is to find books and burn them. Fahrenheit 451, that's the temperature at which paper burns. But in this book, the lead character, Montag, has this statement, and I'll read it about legacy. It says, everyone must leave something behind when he dies, my grandfather said. A child or a book, or a painting or a house, or a wall built, or a pair of shoes made, or a garden planted. Something your hand and soul has touched in some way, so that when you die, and when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there. It's beautiful, right? He goes on to say, it doesn't matter what you do, so long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that's like you after you take your hands away. I want to stop for 1 second because I want to say, Kai, I want to say, Teresa, I believe that is you today. I really believe that the Lord would say you are touching some things, and when you take your hands away, you have imprinted grace, you have imprinted love, you have imprinted strength into that place, that person, that identity, that possibility, because you've actually come to this thing in faith. Once you take your hands away, it says, he goes on to say, the difference between the man who just cuts lawns and the real gardener is in the touching. The lawn cutter might just as well not have been there at all. I get that. But the gardener will be there for a lifetime. Can I just ask you to type into the comments bar right now, whether or not you're watching this back on YouTube, you're watching this back later on in the day, why don't you put in there, I'm not here to cut grass, I'm here to leave a garden. Amen to that, Catherine. Hey, I'm not here to cut grass, I'm here to leave a garden. Now, I love mowing my lawns. I've got a beautiful lawnmower that I've had for over 20 years. I like it, but I also understand I don't want to live a life I'm just going over the same patch of soil again, in the spiritual, in the relational, with building something of permanency and beauty like cutting grass. We asked ourselves on the weekend, we asked ourselves, what's the greatest gift that we can leave for our kids? And it's a sense of legacy. So we heard, Jesse's story, so powerful and so raw and so vulnerable about a dad who had let him down. And he said, while I saw other dads lining up on the side of the sports field, he wasn't there for me. And he had to go to the Father and find the Father's identity and find the Father's heart in this. And we can see that so often parents, good parents, wonderful parents, sometimes wound our kids. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to come to them and apologise for that. We have to continue to ask the Lord, Father, help me to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be a better wife, to be a better mother, so I can leave something for my kids. And I believe the best gift we give them, the legacy that we give them, is to continue to step up in faith, and is to continue to step forward with boldness, to continue to step out of the comfort zone, the things that I can do, such as cutting the grass, and to do the things that only He can do, which is cause the plants to grow and to bear fruit. I can plant it, but I can't make it grow. I can cut the grass and it will grow, but I can't plant a tree and see it bear flowers full of fragrance, or fruit that will attract the bees, and bear fruit that will last for generations. We spoke about bearing fruit on the weekend, and how fruit actually has a lifetime longer than its skin. That pear, that apple, that peach, the seeds inside of it cause it to go on for generations. I want to leave a legacy. I want you to leave a legacy. I want us to be a legacy-leaving people. And so thank you for those people who have said, I'm not just here to cut grass, I'm here to leave a garden. So, how do we do that? Well, we acknowledged on the weekend that Plato actually said the best way to train the young is to train yourself at the same time. So let's do that, shall we? Let's train ourselves at the same time. My first point this morning would be that we have to acknowledge both our call, our purpose, and our power. We have to acknowledge the call that God has on our life. We have to acknowledge that He's given us a purpose in that calling, and He's given us power. Deuteronomy 28:13 says this, the Lord